Hajj is a pillar of Islam which is done at a specific time with very specific requirements. And of these requirements is to enter into a state of ihram. Now, this is a requirement which we'll be briefly looking into, inshallah, and giving an overview of. So, entering into a state of ihram, it basically means that you are entering into not just a physical state, but a spiritual state. And it is done, the entering into ihram is done not just by wearing your garments. Yes, this is a part of it, but wearing the garments does not enter you into ihram. What you need to do is a verbal declaration at the time and the place in which you're entering into the ihram. Now, entering into the ihram is done at very, specific geographical locations. They're called the miqat. So, entering into ihram needs to be done before or at those specific miqats or geographical locations. Now, there are 5 of these geographical, locations, but for our purposes, we will just be discussing the 2. One of them is when those people who are traveling by aircraft and they are landing in Jeddah. Now, those people who will be on that aircraft, they will be entering into a state of ihram while they are on the aircraft. And this will be done approximately 15 to 20 minutes before landing in Jeddah. And generally speaking, if you take an airline like Emirates or a Middle Eastern Airlines, generally speaking, they would be making an announcement on the aircraft in order to let you know that now we are very close to the miqat, and so therefore make your intention and make your preparations in order to enter into ihram, or you may enter into ihram at this location. But even if they don't make an announcement, generally speaking, if you do it, at the time when they make the announcement, like now we are going into descent, and we are going to be descending into Jeddah in the next 15 minutes or 10 minutes even, right? That would be around the right time that you would need to enter into ihram, and that would be done before you enter or before you pass the miqat, insha'Allah ta'ala. And basically, this declaration is done verbally. We would be entering into ihram by the words labbaik Allahumma hajj, or labbaik Allahumma labbaik. Or even in English, if you were to say, oh Allah, I am here, I am in your presence, and entering into ihram, or something along those lines. Even in English, many of the scholars have said that this would suffice, insha'Allah ta'ala. When we're entering from the miqat, for those people who will be landing in Medina first, they will be passing through the miqat of Dhul Hulayfa. And of course, they will be passing through a place, there will be a masjid there as well. At the miqat, we'll be stopping over at the masjid, usually on a bus or in a car. And when we stop there, generally speaking, you would either wear your garments at that masjid, because there will be bathrooms and things over there. But there are some groups and some agencies who would prefer that you wear your garments from Medina before we go to that masjid and that location, just for practical purposes and just to save the time, especially when it might be overcrowded in those areas. So you would wear the garment beforehand, or you would wear the garment at the masjid, depending on your group, and at the place you would stop over. And the best thing to do, or the sunnah of the Prophet ﷺ, is to make that declaration of labbayk, to make that declaration of labbayk, excuse me, when you enter onto the bus, when you enter on your conveyance. And you will say that before the car starts from that location, insha'Allah ta'ala. And for whatever reason, if you weren't wearing your garments, and this is of course more for the men, because the ladies will be wearing their normal garments that they would wear, the requirements of the hijab. The men, if they are not wearing their garments, they may still enter into the state of ihram by that declaration and by those words. but because they were wearing their pants and shirt and not the correct garments, they have basically, just breached one of the wajibat, and basically they would be giving a penalty, and there is no big deal. So entering into a state of ihram, if you don't enter at the miqat as well, yes, this is compulsory, it is a wajib, and if you miss out on this wajib, you will be giving a penalty. Remember, anytime you miss a wajib, it can be made up for in some way by giving a penalty. But if we miss a rukn, which is a foundation or the pillar of the hajj, then that is something that will nullify the hajj and you will need to repeat your hajj. So make sure that we complete the parts, especially we give attention to the parts of hajj which are arkan or pillars. And wajibat, yes, of course, we give our due attention to these as well. But for some reason, if we miss out on these, inshallah, the general rule is that it can be made up for in some way.